You've probably heard both sides of this argument. One group calls eggs the perfect food, a complete protein, a nutritional powerhouse, something you should eat every single day. The other group says they raise your cholesterol, damage your heart, and should be eaten sparingly if at all. Both groups are loud. Both groups have people who swear by their position. And if you've been paying attention, the official advice has changed multiple times over the decades, which makes it even harder to know what to believe. Here's what's actually going on. The truth about eggs isn't dramatic in either direction. It's nuanced. It depends on how you eat them, how often, what else is on your plate, and how your body specifically responds. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how eggs affect your body and how to use them the right way. Eggs are among the most studied individual foods in nutrition science. There are decades of research, hundreds of studies, and a genuine scientific conversation that has evolved considerably over time. What that body of research consistently shows is that health outcomes from egg consumption depend heavily on individual context, the overall quality of someone's diet, their activity level, their existing metabolic health, and how the eggs are prepared. We're going to go through 7 dimensions of this. Not to defend eggs, not to condemn them, but to actually understand them. Chapter 1. Why eggs are nutritionally powerful. Let's start with what's actually inside an egg, because most people only think about the protein. Eggs contain complete protein. That means they provide all 9 essential amino acids, the building blocks your body needs, but cannot manufacture on its own. Very few foods do this. Eggs do it efficiently, in a highly bioavailable form that your body can actually absorb and use. One egg yolk contains roughly 150 milligrams of choline, a nutrient most adults don't get nearly enough of. Choline is essential for brain function, nerve signaling, and the integrity of cell membranes throughout your body. Most people have never heard of it. But the research on choline deficiency is clear, and eggs are one of the best natural sources available. Eggs also provide vitamins A, D, E, and B12. Vitamin A for immune function and vision. Vitamin D, which most adults over 40 are deficient in, for bone health and immune regulation. Vitamin E as an antioxidant. And B12, which is directly involved in energy production at the cellular level and in the health of your nervous system. The healthy fats in eggs support hormone production, which connects directly to everything we covered in our hormones video. The raw materials for your sex hormones, adrenal hormones, and neurological hormones come largely from dietary fat. Eggs are one of the most accessible sources of those fats. Gram for gram, eggs are one of the most nutrient-efficient foods available. Very few foods pack this much value into something this small. Chapter 2. Eggs, muscle, energy, and aging. After 40, the body begins losing muscle mass at an accelerating rate. Not dramatically, gradually, but consistently, unless it receives adequate protein on a regular basis. This matters more than most people realize because muscle is not just about physical appearance or strength. Muscle is your body's primary metabolic tissue. It drives your resting energy expenditure, your insulin sensitivity, your recovery from illness and exertion. When muscle declines, everything connected to it declines with it. 2 eggs provide roughly 12 grams of complete protein, enough to meaningfully contribute to the daily threshold your muscles need to maintain themselves. Not a complete solution, but a consistent, accessible contribution. The B vitamins in eggs, particularly B12, directly support cellular energy production. The fatigue that many people over 40 describe isn't always about sleep. It's often about cellular energy, the efficiency with which your cells convert nutrients into usable energy. B12 plays a direct role in that process. Inadequate protein doesn't just slow your gym progress. It accelerates the physical aspects of aging. It's not about looking strong. It's about staying functional, independent, and resilient as the years pass. So eggs are nutritionally powerful. They support muscle, energy, and healthy aging. But here's where the conversation gets complicated, and where most people get confused. Chapter 3. The Cholesterol Controversy. For decades, eggs were blamed for raising cholesterol and causing heart disease. This fear came from a reasonable place. Eggs are high in dietary cholesterol. And early research linked dietary cholesterol to cardiovascular risk. But the research picture has become considerably more nuanced since then. And the nuance matters. Dietary cholesterol, the cholesterol you eat, affects blood cholesterol differently in different people. For the majority of people, eating eggs does not dramatically raise LDL cholesterol. The body has a compensation mechanism. When you consume more dietary cholesterol, it reduces the amount it produces internally to maintain balance. A smaller subset of people, researchers sometimes call them hyper-responders, do see a more noticeable rise in cholesterol with dietary cholesterol intake. This is a real pattern. It affects roughly a quarter of the population. If you have a family history of elevated cholesterol or cardiovascular disease, this is worth discussing with your doctor. But here's what the research consistently shows. The overall dietary pattern matters far more than any single food. Eggs consumed as part of a diet high in vegetables, fiber, and varied protein sources produce very different outcomes than eggs consumed as part of a diet high in processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and saturated fats. And the question isn't really, are eggs bad? The more accurate question is, what is the egg sitting next to on your plate? And what does the rest of your diet look like? Chapter 4. When eggs can cause problems. There are specific situations where eggs can become problematic. It's worth being direct about them. Some people experience digestive discomfort from eggs, particularly from the egg whites. This can indicate an intolerance or sensitivity. If you consistently feel bloated, gassy, or uncomfortable after eating eggs, that's information worth acting on, either by reducing quantity or by consulting a healthcare provider. For individuals with existing inflammatory conditions, frequent egg consumption may contribute to elevated inflammatory markers in some cases. This is not universal. But if inflammation is already a factor in your health picture, it's worth monitoring your response to eggs specifically. The most consistently problematic combination in the research is eggs plus processed meat. Bacon, sausages, deli meats, when these are eaten together regularly, the combined effect on lipid profiles and cardiovascular markers is more concerning than eggs alone. The research that originally alarmed people about eggs was often studying people who ate eggs with processed meat every morning, not eggs in isolation. A sedentary lifestyle compounds the issue. When you're not moving, your body clears dietary fats and cholesterol more slowly. The egg isn't the variable. The lack of movement is. And a low-fiber diet removes one of the body's primary mechanisms for clearing excess cholesterol. Fiber binds to cholesterol in the gut and escorts it out before it can be reabsorbed. Without adequate fiber, cholesterol from any source, including eggs, has less support for elimination. Problems with eggs usually come from context, not from the egg itself. Chapter 5. How eggs are cooked matters. Here's something most people have never thought about. The way you cook an egg changes its molecular structure, and those changes affect how your body processes it. Overheating eggs, particularly at high temperature with unstable oils, oxidizes the fats in the yolk. Oxidized fats are harder for the body to process and can contribute to the kind of low-grade inflammation that accumulates over time. This is not a dramatic, immediate effect. But over years of cooking habits, it adds up. Frying in vegetable or seed oils at high heat compounds the problem. Those oils are unstable at high temperatures. They oxidize themselves before the egg even hits the pan, and those oxidation products transfer to the food. If you're going to fry eggs, butter or olive oil at medium heat is significantly less damaging. Boiling, poaching, and light scrambling preserve the nutritional integrity of the egg far better than hard frying. A soft-boiled or lightly cooked egg retains more of its nutrients than a fully hardened one. The yolk, in particular, is the most heat-sensitive part. Overcooking it changes the fats and reduces the bioavailability of several key nutrients. This doesn't mean you can never have a fried egg. It means that if fried eggs are your primary cooking method every morning, switching to boiled or poached most of the time is a meaningful upgrade, not a sacrifice. Chapter 6. How to Balance and Repair. Here's the important message from everything we've just covered. Eggs don't need to be eliminated. They need to be used correctly. And using them correctly is not complicated. The single most effective strategy is to pair eggs with fiber. Vegetables, leafy greens, beans, seeds. Fiber binds to cholesterol in the gut and escorts it out before it can be reabsorbed. It's the body's built-in cholesterol clearance mechanism. An egg with vegetables is a fundamentally different thing to the body than an egg with bacon and white toast. Avoid combining eggs with processed meats. That combination, eggs plus bacon, eggs plus sausages, eggs plus deli meat, is specifically what the more concerning research has studied. Swap processed meat for vegetables every time. That one change is worth more than almost any supplement. Rotate your protein sources throughout the week. Eggs. Most days is fine for most people, but including fish, legumes, and lean meats ensures you're getting varied nutritional inputs and not over-relying on any single food. Switch your primary cooking method to boiling, poaching, or light scrambling. If you prefer fried eggs, use butter or olive oil at medium heat, not seed oils at high heat. 2 small changes to the pan that most people would barely notice. Move your body daily. Even a 20-minute walk after eating significantly improves how your body processes dietary fats and cholesterol. This isn't about exercise as punishment. It's about keeping the metabolic machinery moving. And support your overall dietary quality. Eggs exist within the context of everything else you eat. A high-quality overall diet makes eggs an asset. A poor overall pattern makes almost any food harder to process efficiently. Chapter 7. How many eggs is too many? The question everyone wants answered. How many eggs is too many? The honest answer is, there is no universal number. Anyone who gives you one without knowing your health context, your activity level, your overall diet, and your metabolic markers is oversimplifying. What the research does tell us is this: a highly active person with a balanced, high-fiber diet can generally handle more dietary cholesterol than a sedentary person on a narrow, low-fiber diet. Your metabolic health, your insulin sensitivity, your existing cardiovascular markers, your inflammatory baseline, all influence how your body responds to dietary cholesterol. For most healthy adults with a reasonable diet and some regular physical activity, 1 to 3 eggs per day appears well within what the research supports. That's the range most large-scale nutrition studies point to as safe and beneficial for the majority of people. But the research is also consistent on this. Consistency of your overall dietary pattern matters far more than the exact number of eggs you eat. The person obsessing over whether to eat 1 or 2 eggs while eating processed food for 3 other meals is solving the wrong problem. Eat eggs intelligently. Pair them well. Cook them gently. Move your body. And stop counting. Here's what I want you to take from all of this. Eggs are not the enemy. They never were. They are a nutrient-dense, accessible, versatile food that rewards intelligent use and punishes mindless misuse, just like most things in nutrition. The research on this is actually encouraging. Eggs fit well into a health-supporting diet when the overall dietary environment is right. And building that environment, fiber, variety, movement, quality cooking, is something that responds to consistent daily effort. Nutrition works as a system, supporting your digestion, circulation, and metabolism consistently makes every food you eat work better. Some people find it helpful to support that system as part of their daily routine. I've left a resource in the description below. No pressure. Just there if it's useful. If eggs confused you before, they probably shouldn't anymore. You now know what's inside them. You know how they help your muscles, your energy, and your aging process. You know what the cholesterol research actually says. You know when and why they can become a problem. You know how cooking method changes everything. and you know exactly how to use them as part of a diet that actually works. Subscribe to this channel, because every week we break down foods, health topics, and body systems like this. Not with extremes, not with fear. With evidence, with balance, and with practical answers you can actually use. Next week, we're looking at another everyday food that most people misunderstand completely. It might surprise you. Small daily habits, consistently applied, compound into real change. Your body is responding to what you do right now, even if you can't feel it yet. We'll see you in the next one.